Hi again then guys, and welcome to another top-end performance build for Forza Horizon 3, and we're returning again to the world of Porsches with, this time, a classic, the Porsche 356. You can find this model in the game without getting the DLC, because I have not purchased the Porsche DLC, and I don't plan to. I've only won and purchased the cars that you can get without the DLC, so if you're lucky, you can find this one in the auction house. So if you get the chance, I would recommend picking it up if, of course, you're a classic fan. Now, with that being said, this is one of the relatively few cars which I've tuned wherein the tune is actually not on my storefront. And the reason why is because although it's definitely not slow, it isn't really quick enough to justify having a slot taken up in my tuning library, if you will, because I got to the point where I couldn't save anymore and I had to start deleting some slower ones. So this one, not that it doesn't deserve a place, but I have to make some cuts here and there. So unfortunately, this one is not on the storefront. So if you want the tune, you'll have to follow the tutorial, which chances are you probably would anyway. Now, I would recommend, as you can see, the 2-litre flat-4 engine. I believe that's a Scooby engine, if memory serves. For the drivetrain, I would recommend all-wheel drive, pretty obviously. Some people might not want it though, so it's down to you. As far as the visuals, as you can see, I have opted to replace the rear bumper, I haven't replaced the front bumper first of all. You can if you want to. I personally don't like it with the debumpered look. At the back end though, I have changed the travel pack, I guess you could call it, to have that kind of classic look. I love doing stuff like that to the old Beetles as well with the roof rack. Rear bumper, as I mentioned, I have debumpered. That's down to you though, of course, and as far as the bonnet, we have fitted the retaining straps. So all that kind of stuff is down to you. As far as the rims, I've left the stock Porsche wheels, because I think they look fantastic, but I have increased the size. They're not the biggest size, because they look kind of dumb when you make them the biggest size, but at least for my taste, I like them enlarged a little bit. Now, as far as the rest of the visuals, you can see that I have fitted the roll cage. It's a good idea to do that to older cars. It helps with body rigidity, it helps with cornering, and more often than not, it does actually help with acceleration as well. Now, as far as the tuning side of things, because this car isn't as powerful as many of the others which would usually do, it's got less than half the power in some cases. But that being said, as I mentioned earlier, it's not slow. 220 miles per hour is nothing to be ashamed of or sniffed at. 0 to 60 in technically 3.1, 0 to 100 in 6.9. They're all good numbers, especially for a classic. As far as the gearbox, I would recommend a final drive of 3.2, then individual gears of 2.9, 2, 1.51, 1.21, 0.99, and 0.82. Then as far as alignment, I've gone for neutral, camber and toe. Some people may want to have a bit of stance on this car. It certainly suits having that, but I'll leave that to you to do or not to do. Caster we've got on 4 degrees for a midway between manoeuvrability and stiffness. Anti-roll we've got on 26 and 24. Springs on 100 and 127. I have opted for the lowest ride height, but unfortunately it's not really that low. I was hoping that the suspension change would allow this to be slammed, like some of the older muscle cars, but it doesn't. That's unfortunate, because this car does look fantastic when you slam it to the ground. Dampers we've got on 13, 13, 16, 6 and 7, even. It's better when you use English, I find. Aero we haven't fitted, so of course that doesn't apply. Differential we've got on 100% and 0, but that's just down to me. If you want to change that, by all means go ahead. 80% split for this particular car in favour of the rear, so a little bit more tail happy, but at the same time you've got that 20% going to the front to help you off the line, to help you off-road, to help just manoeuvrability and grip in general. So that's it for the tune. As I mentioned, it's not on my storefront, but of course all that remains to do is to, as we always do now, take it out on the street to see if it can actually hit 220. Now, as I mentioned, of course, this is far from being anywhere near one of the quickest cars that I've built, but for its power, certainly for its age and for its overall class of being a smaller, older vehicle, the performance is not bad at all. The top end speed can get a little bit higher than the benchmark. You can get up to around 223, but that's really only on more downhill sections or with slipstream. It can comfortably get up around 220 though and maintain that. 221 at a push. So again, for its power, that's not bad at all. So if you decide to use this tune or some variation of it, I hope you have a lot of fun with it, of course, and potentially win races as well. But there are plenty more like this on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.